There are some builds that everyone senses and feels as soon as they walk into a room. You not only would sense this build's presence, but you'd be shocked as they clear the area without even needing to lift a finger. In today's video, I'm going to go over the build for my Terrorized Tesladin, arguably an OP build that, again, can just walk around and clear the area before anything would be able to get close enough to hit you. I'm going to go over the attributes, the skill tree, the gear for my character and my mercenary, and afterwards I'm going to show you guys some gameplay so you could see this build in action. But do keep in mind that when it comes to this build, there are different ways you can be able to gear the character depending on your needs, whether you're trying to go for maximum DPS, you're trying to do a magifying character, or a hybrid of the two. Just keep in mind when it comes to looking at the gear choices that I'm going to be choosing, that you can choose alternative gear depending on the demand that you have for your build. Before we actually get into the build, the comment shout out for this video is going to be all of you who enjoyed the Shaman Barb build guide and found the spectacle of the build fun to watch play out for what, in thought, shouldn't work, but surprisingly does. Now let's go ahead and get into the video. For the attributes, nothing is needed for strength, then enough dexterity to be able to have 75% chance to block when Holy Shield is buffed up, and the rest of the points are put into vitality. Now for the skill trees, starting with the defensive auras, Resist Lightning and Salvation are maxed out as a synergized Holy Shock. And this is completely optional, especially if not wanting to use a Mercenary. I have 1 point into Redemption to use on switch when not teleporting around to keep replenishing my health and mana. Moving into the combat skill tree, there's 1 point into Holy Shield to boost our defense, and then I maxed out Zeal as that is our main skill, aside from Holy Shock, to deal damage. And because I'm not using the weapon's base to deal damage itself, but is more of a stat stick, I'm not going to be putting points into Sacrifice to synergize Zeal. Looking into the offensive aura skill tree, we'll focus on boosting attack rating with putting what will be our remaining points into Blessed Aim, as it passively works with Zeal. However, first put enough points into Conviction to be able to get negative 145 resist all before using Battle Command to boost it up, which then will have it capped out to have negative 150 resist all. For the gear, do keep in mind that this is a hero edited character. All the items that you see here are not single self found on single player offline, nor do I play online to be able to have someone assist me with helping me get these items to then showcase in this video. I wanted to put this build together myself to be able to show if it would be worth the time and the resources needed to be able to make it effective, in case anyone would be curious to be able to build this out for themselves, and also just for the spectacle of the concept itself. For the gear, the helm and the shield are dual dreams for the level 30 Holy Shock aura, faster hit recovery, resistances, mana based on character level, and a little bit of magic find. The amulet is Higher Lord's Wrath for the plus to skills, increased attack speed, deadly strike based on character level despite most will die within 1 to 2 hits, and the lightning resistance. The body armor is Enigma for the plus to skills, faster run walk, teleport as that is going to be our main skill for moving around, strength based on character level, the boost to life and mana, and magic find. The weapon is Crescent Move for the chance to cast static field on striking, increased attack speed, negative 35% to enemy lightning resistance, and open wounds. The boots are Gore Riders for the faster run walk, crushing blow, deadly strike, and open wounds. But again, most wouldn't need any of this to be able to go down, as this build does a lot of damage before even getting to whatever it is you're trying to kill. The first ring is Ravenfrost for the Cannot Be Frozen, dexterity, mana, and attack rating. The belt is Arachnid Smash for the plus to skills and FCR. The second ring is a dual leech, attack rating, life, mana, and resistance ring. The gloves are Crafted Blood Gloves for the increased attack speed, dual leech, and crushing blow. On switch, he's going to be using the CTA and Spirit combo for the boosting of skills, life, and mana. Now for the inventory, this is where it gets interesting. There's the cube, both tomes, Annie, torch, and in following the build guide that I did for the Shaman Barbarian utilizing the poison damage small charms, he's going to be using the lightning damage small charms to add additional damage with the melee attacks for anything that doesn't quickly die from the pulse damage. And the last charm is the Crack of the Heavens Thunder charm to ensure that nothing is lightning immune. Looking over the additional stats, there's 10% life leech, 9% mana leech, 142% magic find, which is something that Tyler Campbell mentioned as he ran close to that and found Tyro's Might twice during the last ladder season. 14 to life after each kill, 60% increased attack speed, 75% faster run walk, 55% faster hit recovery, 20% faster cast rate of which in teleporting on switch, boosted to 55%. But you can increase that to be able to hit the 75% breakpoint with either Mage Fist or 20% FCR caster amulet. But the FCR as it is isn't a deal breaker for me with this build. And lastly, there's negative 35% to the enemy lightning resistance. With the Mercenary, since I'm going to be using Conviction myself, I'm going to be using an Act 5 Frenzy Barb with Andario's Visage socketed with a 15% IAS, Fire Res Jewel, Chains of Honor for the body armor, and the weapons are what I typically run with my own Frenzy Barb that goes through Ubers, Grief, and Last Wish. This way, if it's needed, he can proc Life Tap to be able to supplement our health, and he procs Fade for his physical damage reduction. This Merc is great to use for running Terror Zones, which is primarily where this build is going to be played. However, because this build doesn't really need a Mercenary, if you want to make supplementing your health much easier and go more budget, you can run an Act 2 Prayer Mercenary using Insight for the Meditation Aura, and a Cure Helm for the Cleansing Aura, as technically, Meditation and Cleansing are treated as prayer auras without costing mana, of which Synergize Prayer to be able to have your health constantly be replenished very quickly. Again, the Mercenary isn't a true necessity, but these are two options that you can use for this build, depending if you want to run Terror Zones exclusively, or just want to have fun farming all over the game. Now that we've discussed the attributes, the skill trees, the gear for my character, and my Mercenary, let's go ahead and check out this build in action to see how well it actually plays out. This build has garnered quite a following of those dedicated to its playstyle, and it is as niche as it is expensive. However, it can be justified by some with how versatile it is, especially with Sunder Charms allowing for immediate breaks with immunities, and overall, it's shockingly fun to play.
Oh brother, this guy stinks!
Stop it. Get some help.
With the gameplay, for anyone who'd be curious as to which player settings I'm using for my build guides, the past, presently on screen, and in the future, down in the bottom left corner is what the example gameplay being shown is currently at.
I can't carry it.
As mentioned earlier, the build is very expensive, and over the years, the debate of it being OP or not has been called into question. However, what sets this build back is how this build is being centered more on using lower player settings to be powerful, even with Sunder Charms. But for those farming for the Grail and level 85 areas, because the Super Uniques have the same drop odds on Players 1 as they would on Players 8, using a lower player settings is more ideal anyway. Terror Zones are fun to play with this build, especially with the Mercenary helping with the life tap proccing to ensure better survivability. This build is a walk in the park for most areas, and even if you become swarmed, as you work your way through enemies, everything will be getting pulse damaged until you reach them, of which then will take very little effort to kill and hopefully drop you some GG gear. Builds like this typically aren't my choice of playstyle, as far as using pulse damage over only using melee damage. However, I enjoyed trying this character out and seeing the full damage potential with this build. As this build guide comes to its conclusion, if you enjoyed this type of video and want to see more, check out my build guides playlist that's going to be in the card in the top right corner of your screen. I have a mix of endgame, budget, and niche builds that I'm sure you'll enjoy. And for builds that I haven't yet made, feel free to leave your suggestions for future videos down in the comment section below. And that's going to wrap it up for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and were able to see if this build would be something that you would be interested in going into the future. And if anything, at least just enjoyed the video. If you like this kind of content, want to see more, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification to be notified whenever a new video comes out.
Come on. Come on. Come on, then. There you are. There you are.
And if you like this video, please let me know by leaving a like. It really is appreciated to be able to help my channel to grow. And if you want to see more of my Diablo 2 Resurrected content, make sure to click the card in the corner up above to check out my Diablo 2 Resurrected playlist. There's a lot of videos already in it with a lot more coming in the very near future. Other than that, I hope you guys are staying safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.